Hi, good day everyone. So today we will be doing Jan 2024, number 10. And this is a paper 2 question. Right, so let's look at the first question. Well, this is a vectors question, right? So number 10 is vectors and matrices questions. It's always vectors and matrices. In a diagram below, O is your origin and OE is equals to 2EF. So let us just underline this here. And we are going to dissect it after, right? And M is the midpoint of EG, so EG, and OG. So I'm just gonna write out here, right? So OG, that's going in that direction because they're telling you starting from O and ending to G is C, vector C. OF, so O to F is B. So let's dissect this. What would be OE? We know that OE is equals to 2EF. Let's count how many parts there are, right? So that means 2, hold on. And OE and EF is on OF. So OF, let's go OF. Let's use the vectors. OF is from O to E plus E to F. Yeah? Now, how many parts is OF? OE is 2 parts, 2 parts EF. So in terms of parts, this would be 2 parts here. So OE is 2 parts and EF would be 1 part. So we know that OF is equals, not OE, OF, right? So OE is how many parts? This would be 3 parts. Not OE, OF, right? Is 3 parts. 3 parts. We are just dissecting this, okay? And then we know that D is equal to 3 parts. So if it's in terms of D, right, that would be, so OE, which is 2 parts, would be equal to 2/3 D, right? And EF would equal to 1/3 of D, right? So that's what we just need to know. This is the major part. When they say that OE is equals to 2F, you think about it like parts, right? OE, so OE is 2EF, and well, EF would be 1EF, right? So if you think about it, there are 3. This would be split up into 3 parts if you're thinking about it as EF. So this would be a third and a third and a third would make up 1. So if we have, this would be a third here. So OE would be 2/3 and EF would be 1/3 of D. Right. So let's just use the arrows. We didn't use the arrows. Right. So OF was OE plus EF. Right? We know that O was our starting point and F was our ending point. So that is why it's OE plus EF, right? So OF, the total of OF, because OE is 2 parts and EF is 1 part here, let's just complete that. We know that OF is a complete of 3 parts, and this is called D, right? So therefore, OE, which is 2 parts, would be 2/3 of D, and EF, which is 1 part, would be 1/3 of D, right? So they said to find FG. Now, when we look at this, this has nothing to do with this. This is just me dissecting, right? The second part will say M is the midpoint of EG, right? What do I mean by that? That just means that EM is found in the middle of EG, right? So EM, anyway, when we find the vector for EG, then we'll do that. But let's just look at this. Find in terms of C and D, FG. So when they say FG, our starting point is F, on our ending point is G. So you write the starting point, the ending point, and you can look at your image. Your image, when they draw an image like this, it's good to use them, right? So FG, we start at F, you go downwards to O, right? Let's use a different color so you guys could see, right? We go downwards to O, and then from O to G, right? So what is our point in common? O. So it would be FO plus OG. However, we know what is OF, not so? OF is equal to D, but FO is going the opposite direction of OF. So what do? We take that D and multiply by -1. So FO is equals to negative D. So this is negative D plus OG. We already know what is OG. OG is C. So this would be the simplest form, minus D plus C. And that is how you do it. Or you could put C plus minus D. Whichever one, right? This is the same thing as saying C minus D. Let's look at EG now. So we're starting from E and going to G. So I'm going to use a different color so that we could so we're starting at E, O, right? Let's use purple. Actually, let's use purple, right? And then we're going from O to G. Now, remember we dissected this, right? What do we know as OE? OE is two-thirds of D, not so? So starting point is E, ending point is G, and using that line that we saw it was O was our point in common, right? From what we dissected, we know that OE equals two-thirds of D, right? And because we know it's two-thirds of D, right? O, not OE, EO would be the opposite direction. So we just simply multiply what OE is by -1. So EO, right, which is going in this direction. So we're going in the opposite direction, is 2 over 3D multiplied by -1. So this would be negative 2 over 3D plus what is OG? C. So you could simply put C, not plus, minus 2 over 3D, and that would give you EG, right? Because the starting point is E, ending point is G. That is how you would do this part here. Okay, so let us look at this. They want part 2 was to find OM. Now, what did they say about M? They said M is the midpoint of EG, meaning that M is in the middle of EG. Did we locate or find out what EG is equal to? We did. So we know that EM, we could go from E. So EM is equal to MG, right? And that means we have to find, so EM or EG would be a half of C minus 2/3 D, right? Because remember, what is EG? EG is what we just now said, C minus 2/3 of D. So if we want to find out where M or EM or MG is at, we just simply multiply by a half, right? So we know that is either EM or MG is equal to this. I would leave it like this, don't multiply just yet. Or you could, right? A half by C is a half C. And then a half by 2/3 D would be 2 into 2, 1. So that would be minus a third D, right? That is what EM or MG is equal to. right? We multiply a half by C, which is a half C, and then a half by 2/3 G. Let's just do it so that you guys could see. A half multiplied by C is equals to a half C, and then a half multiplied by 2/3 D would be 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 2, 1. So you get this is equal to 1/3 D. Right? And then deal with the signs of plus and a minus. So minus, that's how I get minus a 2D. Right? Now we want OM. Right? So OM, O is your starting point, M is your ending point. So there are two ways that you can do this. I am going to use a dotted line so that you guys can see it, because so you can say if we want OM, your starting point is O, so we could go from O to E, right? If you guys are seeing it, O to E, and then you go from E to M, right? So your point in common would be M. Or if you don't want to do it like, let me use a different color, because let's use blue. And this one will also be blue. If you want to do it like that, or you could say OG, right? And then G to M. Doesn't matter which one you use, right? It's all up to you which direction you want to use, right? I'll put that pink so that everyone could see. Right. So whichever one you want, you're supposed to get the same answer. So I will say, let's just use OE plus EM, right? Starting point is O, ending point is M, and using the image, it can tell you what we want to start at M. Your point in common would be E, right? So OE is equal to what, guys? We know that's 2/3 of D, 2 over 3D, plus what is EM? We found out EM, which is equal to a half C, let's just put this in brackets, a half C minus a third D. So that would be 2/3 D plus a half C minus a third D, right? So you group like terms, that's 2/3 D minus a third D plus a half C, right? That's 2/3 minus a third is 1/3 D plus a half C, right? And that would be the answer, a third D plus a half C. Now let's just say you want the other direction, and I'll do this at the outside there. Let me just change the background. I could just change the color. Let's write in red. All right. Let's say you want it from O to G and G to M. So it's OG plus GM. We know OG is what? OG is equals to C plus GM. We have MG, we do not have, so we have MG, which is equal to a third D plus a half C. However, that is not what we want. We want the opposite. So you simply multiply this by -1. So GM will now be a third minus a third D minus a half C. Right? So it would be C plus. Hold on. No. I made a mistake, guys. I'm supposed to plus. Did I? No, I'm supposed to subtract. That's correct. Right? So that is C. OG is C, right? Plus GM, which is minus a third D minus a half C. Open it out, that's C minus a half C minus a third D. C minus a half is a half C because it's 1/2. 1C minus a half C, and then you minus a third D, right? That would be equal, right? In this one here, I did not carry across the sign. It would be minus a third D minus a third D plus a half C. So it does not matter, I didn't carry across this minus here. Does not matter the order in which you do it, you're going to get the same answer. If you went the direction of O to E and then E to M, you'll get that the same answer. And if you went O to G and then G to M, again, you'll get the same answer. So it doesn't matter which one location or which direction you go, you're supposed to get the same answer for what OM is equal. So now we're going to do part B. Right, let's do B. So the said matrices P, Q, R are given below. So P is this, R, Q is this, R is this. In terms of scalar constants, A, B, and C is. So they told you what A, what is B, and what is, well, they didn't tell you. Right? Given that, so they're telling you that 3 minus 9, A7 plus, right, Q, which is minus 1, B minus 4, 1 is equal to R, which is C minus 3 minus 4, 8. Right? Find the values of A, B, and C. So we know when we were adding, we always add the same positions, right? So if this first one, this is row 1 by column 1, this is row 1 by column 2, this is row 2 by column 1, this is row 2 by 2, same thing, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Right, same thing, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, and then 2, 2. Right, so if I want to find out A, which is in position 2, 1, I'm going to add all the position 2 1s, right? So it will be A plus negative 4 is equals to negative 4. If I had to make A the subject, A would be negative 4. I carry across this minus 4. The opposite of minus 4 is plus 4. So we know A is equal to 0, right? I want to find B, which is position 1, 2. So that would be negative 9 plus B is equals to negative 3. Carry across the minus 9. So B would be equals to minus 3 plus 9, right? And that is B equal to 6. If I want to find position 1, 1, right, I'm going to add up the terms. That's 3 plus negative 1 is equals to C. 3 plus negative 1 is actually equals to 2. So 2 is equals to C, or C is equal to 2. So therefore, A is 0, B is 6, and C is 2. All right, part C, which I haven't seen in a while, says solve the following pairs of simultaneous equations using the matrix method. Now, when we're using the matrix methods, there are a few things that we have to follow. We need to make sure all the x's, if the x's are first and the y's are second, and then the answers. We have to change this into a 2 by 2 matrix. So that would be the coefficient of x is 5, the coefficient of y is negative 2, coefficient of x is 2, and the coefficient of y is positive 3. So it will be 5, 2 minus 2 minus 2, 5 minus 2, 2, 3 by x is first, y is at the bottom, is equal to, what is the answer? 44, 10. Now, we know that we cannot just divide. You cannot divide matrices, right? So what we did was we call this A, we call this B, and we call this C. First off, we need to see if this is, is compatible to multiplication, right? So we find the order of A, which is a 2 by 2, 2 rows by 2 columns. B is 2 rows by 1 column, and C is also 2 rows by 1 column. Right? Let's see if this is, we see that the number of columns in our first vector is equal to the number of rows in our second vector. So therefore, they can multiply. And when you multiply the number of rows in your first, by the number of columns in your second vector, is what C is equal, that's the order of the answer, which is 2 by 1. We see that these are the same, so yes, they are. So first off, what we're going to do is we are going to find out what B is equal to. So B would be, if you wanted to find B, this would be C divided by A. However, we don't have division. So because of our rule of indices, C over A is the same thing as saying C over 1 multiplied by 1 over A. And 1 over A is equal to A to the inverse of A, or A to the negative 1. Right? Now, if you see, let's just make sure that we can multiply C by inverse of E, right? C is a 2 by 1 and A is a 2 by 2, even if it's the inverse. These are not compatible or not the same, so we cannot multiply C by inverse of A. So we just rearrange it. So we say A inverse multiplied by C would give you B. Right? So that is so how we got this formula? The formula for adjoint is 1 over the modulus of A multiplied by A adjoint. Modulus of A is AD minus BC, and an A adjoint would be, you exchange the positions of A and, where's my D? A and D, and multiply B and C by negative 1. All right? We know A is in A, B, C, D. This is just the general, right? What is A? So we know that A is equals to 5 minus 2, 2, 3, right? So therefore, let me just use a different color, a brighter color. Let's use light green. This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Right, so what is going to happen? This would be equal to, you exchange the positions of 5 and 3, so it's 3 here, 5 here. You multiply B by negative 1 minus 2 by negative 1 is 2 ones are 2, and a minus, a plus, so it's just 2. And then again, 2 by 1 is 2, a minus and a plus is a minus, so it's minus 2. This is the adjoint of A. And then the modulus of A, so the modulus of A would be equals to, again, we have what is A, that A, B, C, D. So the modulus of A is AD, which is 5 multiplied by 3 minus B by C minus 2 multiplied by 2. Right, so 5 3s are 15 minus 2. 2 is, 2 2s are 4. So that's minus 4. A minus and a minus is a plus, so that's 15 plus 4, which is equals to 19. Right? So A inverse, I'm running out of space. I'll just do it underneath. A inverse would be 1 over 19 multiplied by, what is the adjoint? That's 3, 2 minus 2, 5. Right? So A inverse would be 3 over 19, 2 over 19, minus 2 over 19, and 5 over 19. Because I'm multiplying, this is actually a scalar multiple, meaning I'm multiplying 19 by each term in my bracket. So that's what A inverse is. So we simply multiply this by C to get an answer. So again, I'm running out of space, so I am going to use white as the background. Right. So we know it's A inverse by C. We know A inverse is 3 over 19, 2 over 19, minus 2 over 19, and 5 over 19. Right? And you're multiplying this to C. What is C? C is the answer, 44 and 10. 44 and 10. Right. when you do this, all right, so we check to see the order. Always check to see if it is compatible, or yeah, compatible to multiplication. That's 2 by 2, and this is a 2 by 1 right here. This is equal, so we know that yes, it is the word is conformable, conformable to multiplication, and the answer you're supposed to get is a 2 by 1 matrix. It's row by column, right? If this would be x on top here, y at the bottom here, right? Because we said that A minus A by C is equals to B, and what is B here? X and Y. But if we put it in the form, this would be so this is the X would be element 1, 1, which is row 1 by column 1, and Y would be element 2, 1, which is row 2 by column 2. This tells us what we have to multiply to get X and Y. Right? So E1, you can multiply it, but I'm just going to do it step by step. E1, 1, which is element position 1, 1 would be your first row by a second. So your first row by your first column, right? So it's 3 over 19 multiplied by 44 plus 2 over 19 multiplied by 10. So 3 over 19 multiplied by 44 is 6 and 18 over 19 plus 2 over 19 multiplied by 10 is 1 and 1 over 19. So 6 plus 1 is 7. 18 plus, I can't add it because my denominators are the same. 18 plus 1 is 19 over 19. 19 over 19 is a whole. So 7 plus 1 is 8. I know that my x value is 8. So E11 is 8. Let's find for E21, that's your second row multiplied by your first column, right? So that's negative 2 over 19 multiplied by 44, 1, right? Plus 5 over 19 multiplied by 10 over 1. So let's go. Now it is negative 2 over 19 multiplied by 10. We already, that is minus 1 and 1 over 19 plus 5 over 19 multiplied by 10. 5 over 19 multiplied by 10 is 2 and 12 over 19. Right, so this one I did this wrong here. 2 over 19 multiplied by 44 is not, I multiplied by 10. I was looking at this. Is actually minus 12 over 19. This makes sense. So minus 4 and 12 over 19 plus 2 and 12 over 19. Don't deal with the signs. A minus, not plus, is a minus. So you just subtract the two like normal. Or you could use a calculator, right? If you use a calculator, you'll get negative 2. So this answer is negative 2. So we know, therefore, let's just end it off. Therefore, x is equals to 8, and y is equal to 2, not 2, negative 2. You put that answer right here. X is equal to 8, and y is equal to negative 2. All right, and that is how you do this question.